How do you build a race team with your own hands, win with it, and then die testing the next monster you designed? Bruce McLaren, the man who started it all and paid the ultimate price. You start as a young Kiwi who refuses to pick one job. Bruce straps in, draws the blueprint, signs the checks, and then torques the bolts. Driver, engineer, boss, 3 hats, 1 papaya payroll. He hustles wins in anything that pays the bills. Can-Am brings prize money and bruises. The early F1 grind brings flashes of speed and a lot of late nights. The budget stretches like old rubber bands. The risk is dumb high. Every upgrade is either lap time or a fire extinguisher drill. Bruce keeps saying yes to both. Then the switch flips at Spa, a 68. On a track that eats bravery for breakfast, the orange car plants its flag. That breakthrough sets the tone. The shop culture goes full DIY. Break it, fix it overnight, race it anyway. No excuses. If you need a part, you make it. If you need pace, you find it with a spanner and a stubborn streak. Founders write code without a keyboard. Bruce installs the software. Ingenuity over polish, resilience over mood swings, pace over PR spin. You can feel it in the garage noise. The cars look purposeful, not precious. The crew lives in that sweet spot where the stopwatch is God and tomorrow is always sooner than you think. And the color? Oh yes. The papaya. Not a committee choice. A statement. Loud, bright, zero stealth. Before brands had decks and fonts, Bruce paints the thing like a highlighter and says, "That's us." It's not marketing. It's identity you can spot through spray and smoke. Testing back then is a coin toss with speed on one side and tragedy on the other. When it lands wrong in 1970, it takes Bruce. That moment could freeze everything. Projects like this usually end when the founder does. But the garage doesn't go silent. The crew tapes up the heart and keeps wrenching. They choose defiance. Keep racing. Keep building. Keep the papaya rolling out of the truck like a promise. The blueprint holds because it's simple. Be clever, be quick, be tougher than the weekend. So yes, without Bruce, there is no papaya. The ethos he baked into the bolts keeps paying out every time an orange nose points at turn 1. From grit in a small shop to a title challenge painted bright enough to be seen from space, the next chapter arrives with a calm smile and a trophy habit. Emerson Fittipaldi, the Brazilian who made orange mean victory. What happens? When Brazilian smooth meets British papaya, titles happen. Emerson Fittipaldi walks in with champion aura and no nerves, and the garage goes quiet because they know what this is. A race winner with receipts and a car ready to cash them. He swaps the black and gold swagger for an M23 that, blessed be, actually does 2 things modern fans dream about. It's quick and it finishes. Not glamorous, just solid. The kind of car you trust when the grid loses its mind. And Emo uses it like a surgeon, not a showman. The season's a circus. Reliability roulette is spinning, politics are humming in the paddock, but Fittipaldi keeps to his lane. He bags big points, then bigger ones, wins at home, wins abroad, then hoovers up 4ths and 5ths that feel boring on paper, but break rivals in real life. Zero drama, maximum damage. He's not out there for highlight reels, he's out there for the trophy engraver to run out of space. That's the 1974 arc. Calm inputs, smart risk. The move where you don't force an overtake because the guy in front is about to grenade his gearbox anyway, and when the finale arrives, he doesn't flinch. Brings it home, locks the crown, and all of a sudden orange means victory, not just visibility. The M23 is the quiet hero here. Simple shapes, strong bones, a setup window that doesn't demand witchcraft. You give it a decent balance and it pays you back across track types. It's the opposite of those diva machines where the driver's hands are writing checks the chassis won't sign. This one signs, in ink. And then comes the plot twist. He leaves. Family project, heart on sleeve, national dream. Noble as hell, brutal on lap time. That exit becomes the cautionary tale fans quote when a driver says, "I want a new challenge." The whisper starts and never stops. What if he stayed? What did the next season look like with that same calm, that same car, that same no mistakes mode? But here's the stamp that never fades. Fittipaldi crowns papaya. First driver's title in the bag, the first time the team felt like a permanent resident in the big league, not a weekend guest. The lesson is loud. Factory firepower beats passion projects 9 days a week. From cool precision to chaos with charisma, enter James Hunt. James Hunt, the playboy, who partied his way to a championship. Can a rock star win a title while living like a tour bus? Ask James. He rolls into McLaren with a reputation louder than the V12s and a car that can cash checks. Sponsors love him, purists clutch pearls, and the garage knows one thing. If he's in range on Sunday, chaos is about to set a lap time. 1976 turns into a primetime series. Hunt versus Lauda, every week a new cliffhanger. Crashes flip the point script, comebacks yank it back, and stewards stir the pot with rulings that spark headlines. You get grid drops, appeals, and the kind of penalties that make radio engineers cry. Through it all, Hunt keeps turning anger into tenths, sharpening the edge rather than blunting it. The big beats stack up. poles when pressure is suffocating, races won by finger-width margins, then the finale at Fuji, a monsoon-turned morality test. Lauda steps out early. Hunt doesn't blink. He threads water on slicks and risk manages like a gambler who knows the table's mood, nails the finish he needs, and the math drops a world title into his lap by a single point. That's not luck, that's nerve control. Here's the thing about James, the personality isn't garnish, it's a force multiplier. He pulls in casual fans who didn't know a downshift from a downbeat, and suddenly McLaren is not just a team, it's pop culture. Posters on walls, headlines that reach people who never watched a lap. The car is quick, but the aura is turbo. After the ring, the returns get choppy. The parties keep a steady delta, the wins do not. Pace pops up, form dips, and the scoreboard stops being polite. The myth grows anyway, because the story is bigger than a result sheet. He later slides into a BBC mic, drops blunt takes with that same delivery, and a new audience figures out he's not just noise, he sees the game. That's the contradiction that made him stick. Off-track mayhem, on-track clarity. He could roll up in chaos and then hit apexes like a metronome, a lifestyle that looked unserious and a race brain that was anything but. Mini payoff, Hunt proves you can live loud and still put a team on the map with a ring and a grin. From a wild champion to a clinical comeback, now Lauda again, but in papaya. Niki Lauda, the half-point hero who proved comebacks work. What's smaller than a photo finish? A half-point championship margin. That's Lauda and papaya, turning decimals into daggers. He comes back to F1 with McLaren like a consultant who actually fixes things. Clean lines, no fluff, and setup notes that read like engineering homework. Precision in the car, brutal honesty in the debrief. Cold-blooded racecraft that doesn't chase crowds, just points. 84 turns into a knife fight with Prost, where raw lap time isn't the only currency. Strategy runs the bank. Pit calls matter. Keeping the tires alive matters more. Lauda leans on the MP4-2's efficiency and makes the stint length his best friend. He doesn't overreach for glory laps. He stalks the stint delta, then cashes late. Meanwhile, the other side of the garage stacks wins. The scoreboard loves fireworks, but the title loves consistency. Here's Lauda's trick, engineering brain, tire care, harvest points when the win isn't there. He treats qualifying like an audition and the race like the real movie. On Sundays, he stays in the slipstream of the championship math. When rivals burn rubber for 2 laps, he saves it for 20. Boring? No, it's lethal. We get to Portugal with everything on a razor. Prost needs the win. Lauda needs second. The race gets shortened in the wet. Prost delivers the victory, but Lauda brings home P2 and with it a title by a mere half point, the sport's meanest decimal flex. That margin isn't a fluke. It's the invoice for a season of disciplined choices. The car helps. John Barnard's MP4A2 is a carbon fiber statement with that Coke bottle side pod flow, and a tidy, efficient Porsche-designed engine. Stiff, light, and slippery. It lets Lauda run less aggressive qual trim and still hold race pace. The thing is simply lovely at turning tire life into lap time, which suits his whole thesis. In 1985, the fights keep coming, but the balance starts to tilt. Prost pushes the outright speed edge and converts. Lauda still reads the race like a chessboard, yet the totals drift. That's the paradox of their pairing. Less single lap bite, more points where it counts until it doesn't. Mini payoff, Lauda's title is a masterclass in winning F1 with math, not vibes. Speaking of math, meet the professor who meets a storm named Senna. Alain Prost, the professor versus the rain god, War Crimes edition. What happens when the smartest guy on the grid gets a teammate who treats corners like suggestions? You get a civil war at 300 kilometers per hour and a trophy cabinet that needs extra shelves. McLaren Honda goes nuclear the moment those two share a garage. You can feel the air change. 2 alphas, 1 stopwatch, no peace. Prost arrives and stacks titles with quiet menace. Then Senna walks in and flips the stakes. The car's a rocket, the engine's a sledgehammer, and every weekend turns into an exam where both drivers try to grade the other's homework with a red pen and a black flag ready. Yes, it's going to be spicy. Teammate warfare, full blast. Points games over breakfast. Qualifying laps that send mechanics hiding behind the toolboxes. Team orders become suggestions with a half-life of 5 minutes. Sundays turn into split strategies where one side covers the win and the other covers the war. Prost's method is simply lovely to watch if you love logic. Smooth inputs, tire preservation that looks like witchcraft but is just math. He manages pace by stint delta, not ego, and he treats the last 10 laps like a savings account paying interest. When track temps shift, he shifts first. When rivals chase glory laps, he banks points. He doesn't just win races. He shapes how the team works. Processes get sharper, debriefs get cleaner, setup notes read like clean code. 3 titles for McLaren under his belt confirm it. He's not only fast, he's scalable. The rivalry turns philosophy into lap time. Restraint versus risk. Chess versus blitz. One driver hunts margins, the other detonates them. And weirdly, the tension powers the dynasty. The team dominates while sweating through every meeting because the bar never stops moving. Flashpoints escalate. The big one hits at Japan in '89. They collide. Prost retires. Senna gets disqualified after rejoining. The title swings, and the sport learns a brutal lesson about what happens when you put two killers in the same pen and tell them to share. From then on, every team studies this pairing like a crime scene. Contracts change, walls go up, data gets locked, teammate dynamics get redefined across the grid. Mini payoff. Prost proves that brains beat brawn when the plan survives lap 70. But now, when the clouds roll in and grip leaves the chat, the rain god clocks in. And the rain god did show Ayrton time. Ayrton Senna, the rain god who made physics optional. How do you scare every driver in every cloud? You hire Senna. You want lap time? He bends it. You want rain pace? He makes grip where the rest of the field finds a swimming pool. The vibe is simple. When he's out, everyone checks their mirrors and their soul. He lands with raw pace that looks legal to the naked eye. Qualifying turns into a time warp where the car crosses the line and your brain needs a second to catch up. In the wet, belief just breaks. Corners that bully others become green lights. You can't coach that. You can only try to hang on. Dominance arrives, but it isn't clean. Reliability nibbles. Politics hum in the background. That never slows the intent. He still throws down laps that feel ripped from a different physics book and then shrugs like it was a warm-up. Monaco becomes his playground. Street circuit, zero room, walls waiting, he threads it with precision. Rain or dry, and stacks wins like tokens at an arcade. The wet clinics go beyond good in rain. They're surgical, led by seconds, not tenths. Make pit walls relax and rivals chase ghosts. The aggression is measured, not messy, which is why it lands so hard. 3 world titles lock the point home, and he says it out loud. I am not designed to finish second. That line isn't branding, it's the operating system. Every start is a contract. Pole if possible, control the race, and if the car coughs, force it to behave by sheer will. The package synergy is nasty. Honda Power laying the punch. McLaren Aero giving the platform. Senna adds the bravery tax and cashes it weekly. You feel the hookup on exits where others feather, he just goes. It's a triangle that feeds itself engine. Chassis, driver none of it wasted. Here's the kicker. The aura lifts the ceiling. Papaya stops being a color and becomes a statement. When that helmet drops in, the team stands a little taller, the factory works a little later, and the grid expects pain. Even when the car falters, he pulls out miracles. Limping machinery still lands points. Broken rhythm still yields a move that flips a race on its head. That's the gap between very quick and inevitable. Mini payoff. McLaren's greatest? Many say yes. The rain always agreed. After Olympus, the rebuilds begin cue a very fast Finn. Mika Hakkinen, the emotionless Finn? With all the speed, can you win 2 titles and barely change your face? Mika Hakkinen says yes. Stone cold eyes, flat tone, lap times that make telemetry blush. The man treats celebrations like software updates. Noted, applied, moving on. He arrives as Ferrari and Schumacher turn the screw. The stakes rise, rules shift, the grip window gets narrow. McLaren and Hakkinen climb together, step by step, until they're trading race wins with the red cars like 2 heavyweights counting jabs on a whiteboard. No fluff, just pace. These fights demand perfect laps and nerves of liquid nitrogen, out laps that decide track position, in laps that decide pit windows. Pressure so thick you feel it through the screen. Hakkinen holds the line, keeps the wheel calm, and saves the snap for the only moment that pays. Back-to-back championships land, not by accident by razor battles with Schumacher that's still live rent-free. Think late break duels, defensive lines that barely fit a car, and that clean, ruthless racecraft. The highlight reel has a crown jewel, a move at Spa where he slices past while threading a backmarker like a needle. That clip still gets played when the sport wants to show you what courage looks like with a steering wheel. Under the skin, the tools are dialed. Mercedes power hits hard but smooth. Adrian Newey's chassis flows, loads, and releases like a spring you can trust. Hakkinen adds a qualifying edge that pins rivals before turn 1. The package is simply lovely when it's all connected. And yes, it's going to be nasty if you're chasing it. Strategy grows up too. Take the win when it's there, take the points when it isn't. That's the rule. He banks seconds early, then guards the tires late, and if the undercut won't stick, he sets up the overtake for the next stint instead of the next corner. Clean thinking, clean execution. He drags McLaren back into the modern elite after the shadow years. The badge feels heavy again, the garage walks taller, the grid notices, reliability still bites, sensors sulk, gearboxes grumble, and weekends get messy. Hakkinen keeps scoring, damage limited, titles protected. That's the difference between fast and champion. Mini payoff, the flying fin proves calm can kill. 2 stars back on the papaya wall, carved with a straight face. Now what if your teammate is fast too? But fate keeps saying almost. David Coulthard, the nearly man who spent 9 years. Almost winning. How do you win a dozen races and still become the mascot for next year? You're DC. Big grin, tidy hands, fast enough to frighten Saturdays, and somehow Sundays keep drifting into almost. He turns hope into a personality trait. Fans know the line by heart. Next year, mate. Coulthard anchors the swing years. Some weekends the car is the class of the field. Other weekends it throws tantrums. He absorbs the mood changes. When the thing's hooked up, he nails tidy poles and clean starts. When it isn't, he nurses it, drags it into points, and keeps the garage calm. He's the guy you trust to bring back all 4 wheels and some data worth reading. But now the tension builds. The rivals harden up. The gap between raw potential and silverware starts to look like a trench. You can feel it. Title talk at round 1, damage control by round 12. He threads the needle, then the needle moves. He adapts, the rules shift. He adapts again. Reliability rolls a dice. The results sheet shows the story in little bursts. Strong Sundays where he banks heavy team points. Clutch stints after rough Saturdays. A big street win in his later spell that reminds everyone the pace is still there when the car listens. But the title bids fade as the season length grinds, because pace deficit plus gremlins equals math you can't sweet talk. Here's the useful bit. 9 seasons is not a fluke. A tenure that long stabilizes the whole operation. Development loops need steady hands and repeat feedback. He gives both. Debriefs don't need drama. He brings clarity. When he moves on from the cockpit, he flips the same toolkit into TV and stays front of house, with analysis that translates garage speak into human. Role player versus alpha is the frame. He can lead a weekend. He can also play wingman and still hurt the other teams. Constructors' tallies love that. A double point haul matters when trophies are shy. That's value you don't spot in a highlight reel. You spot it in a season that doesn't collapse. This is the thin line era. One more finish here, one less fault there, and you rewrite a legacy. Legend or good job, mate lives 1 safety car apart. He gave McLaren a lesson in consistency, not fairy tales. Mini payoff, DC provides 9 seasons of backbone when the cupboard threatens to echo. From almost to ice cold Kimi time, and the engine gods revolt. Kimi Raikkonen, the Iceman who should have won if cars didn't explode. What's faster than Kimi? McLaren's reliability exploding first. The Iceman shows up, says 10 words a week, and drops lap time like it's loose change. No drama, no brand campaign, just throttle, brake, and that deadpan radio that says, yes, yes, the car is on fire again. He brings title speed on day 1. The stopwatch is in love. The garage is in therapy. You get weekends where he gaps the field, owns qualifying, and then, 20 laps from bliss, a puff of smoke turns the TV graphic into a funeral. That's the rhythm. Fastest lap, cruel silence, fans staring at the timing screen like it owes them money. Near-miss seasons stack up like unpaid bills. You know the kind. Start from way back because of a grid penalty, carve through traffic like a scalpel, and then a tiny part taps out. Or lead comfortably, hit the last stint, and a sensor decides it hates you. 10 extra finish laps across those runs and the trophy engraver is spelling RAIKKONEN in papaya. Instead you get heartbreak with a pit wall headset. The style is brutal in its neatness, minimal inputs, hands still. He turns the wheel like he's writing in tiny print and the car just listens. Qualifying is mean. One shot, no noise, maximum threat. On Sundays he's ruthless. Early stint pace to break DRS, then a cool head through back markers. No moves for the cameras, only moves that pay. McLaren's peak speed keeps beating the build sheet. Aero sings, engine slaps. Then a threaded bolt decides it wants a holiday. You age 5 years each race, you start bargain hunting for lucky socks. Doesn't help. Kimi keeps delivering the part he can control, the rest plays reliability roulette. Here's the echo that won't quit. The 2007 title at Ferrari throws shade back over the whole story. Same driver, different pit wall. The dependable platform lets him cash the talent shown before. The contrast screams what everyone felt. The missed haul wasn't pace, it was uptime. So the myth grows for the right reason. Not because Kimi cracked, because the car did. That's it. The legend becomes this clean split. Fastest guy, fragile kit. That's how you end up proving a nasty truth about racing. Mini payoff, Kimi shows you can be the quickest on earth and still lose to a bolt worth $3. Now for a rookie who brings war to the garage and still gets the crown. Lewis Hamilton, the rookie who caused civil war and won. Anyway, imagine debuting and instantly fighting your world. Champion teammate. Now win a title next season. That's the pitch. Lewis shows up so polished you could shave in the reflection, and McLaren expects clean speed. What they get is a thunderstorm with traction control. From race 1, he throws elbows, starts near the front, races like he owns the apex, and turns out laps into ultimatums. You watch the data traces and it's all up. Late braking, early throttle, zero fear. The car suddenly looks scarier because the driver refuses to be cute. He's here to pass, not mingle. Then 2007 lights the fuse. 2 elite drivers, 1 garage, and a points table that swings like a pendulum on caffeine. Penalties drop, stewards trend on Mondays, and the tabloid parade camps outside the motorhome. Inside the cockpit, Lewis keeps hitting marks under pressure that buckles plenty of rookies. Starts, restarts, wet lines, dry lines, he's quick in every weather report. Raw aggression becomes the headline. Qualifying laps look like theft. He places the car half a tire's width from disaster and cashes purple sectors. On Sundays, the clutch passes land at the corners that make adults hold their breath. It redefines what the team believes is possible with identical kit. The ceiling lifts because he keeps ignoring it. Next season, the script goes full thriller. The 2008 title comes down to the final beats, the kind of finish where every point reads like a screenplay note and you swear at your TV. He threads chaos, collects exactly enough, and the crown lands. By a hair, by intent. After that, the pace isn't a straight line. Some weekends the car is simply lovely, others, it's on vibes. He still racks wins, still launches moves from angles that feel illegal, but the second title in Papaya never shows. That's where the career fork appears. The move to Mercedes looks mad in the moment. Then history pats him on the back. It validates the scouting that built him and exposes how team politics can turn talent into turbulence. The math is brutal. 6 seasons, 1 title. Glorious, yet underfed for what he was doing on Saturdays and Sundays. Mini payoff, Lewis proves McLaren can build giants. Timing writes the rest. Speaking of timing, Fernando returns later to test everyone's patience. Fernando Alonso, the man who left McLaren twice, both times disasters. 2 stints, 2 dramas, 1 very loud radio. That's the Alonso at McLaren experience. You want fireworks? He brings a crate. You want peace? Wrong garage. First act, 2007. Reigning champ walks in, expects top billing, and meets a rookie rocket who doesn't wait his turn. The power balance snaps. Every debrief turns into chess with knives. Data walls get taller. The garage splits into half whispers and long stares because every 10th suddenly carries politics. You could feel the tempo change. Raw pace from both sides, but harmony dies fast. Now layer in the backdrop. Spygate noise in the paddock, internal leaks, and stewards living rent-free on Monday. Trust evaporates. Strategy calls feel like courtroom drama. You get radio spikes, side-eye on the pit wall, and a season that sprints to a breakup. The split isn't gradual. It's a door slam you hear from the car park. Cut to part 2, 2015. The big reunion, new hybrid era, fresh hope, Honda badges, and a promise of clean sheet magic. Instead, the car wheezes, the deployment map sulks, and the now immortal GP2 engine moment becomes internet law. Every weekend turns into a tutorial on damage limitation with extra sarcasm. The memes lap the race pace. Here's the truth that stings. Alonso's racecraft stays elite. Starts, restarts, tire whispering. Wheel to wheel, you still get the masterclass. The car does not hold up its end. Straight line loss, reliability roulette, and pit strategies, built around survival, not attack. You can be simply lovely on the brakes. It doesn't fix a power deficit down the straight. So the mismatch snowballs. Clips go viral, podiums do not. Post-session body language tells the tale. A superstar squeezing tenths from a setup sheet that won't play ball. Fans turn sessions into bingo cards. New part, new penalty, new sigh. The scoreboard stays stingy. Brand impact? Massive. Drama can eclipse results. Headlines outrun lap charts. McLaren learns hard lessons about partnerships, expectations, and how fast goodwill burns when promises meet DNF screens. This is not just pace, it's alignment, patience, and knowing when to say no to a rebuild that needs years, not months. 2 exits, 2 cautionary tales. Don't crown a project before it runs. Don't hire a volcano and act shocked when it erupts. Alonso can light up a team with pure speed and sharper feedback, or scorch it when the timeline lies. Now, bring in the adult in the room, Button, the rain whisperer. Jenson Button, Mr. Consistent meets. Mr. Honda, unreliability. How do you look calm while everything around you misfires? You act like Jenson Button. Soft hands, sharp brain, and a voice that could read a fire alarm and make you breathe slower. The man treats chaos like a weather report. Note it, plan for it, move on. He arrives smooth and strategic, Mixed conditions are his playground. Give him a greasy track, odd tire temps, and a fuel window on a knife edge, and he turns it into free lap time. Long game thinking, pace built on patience, and a knack for reading grip that sensors miss. It's not loud, it works. Then comes the slide. After 2012, the form goes patchy. The Honda reboot hits and the power unit says no like it's a lifestyle choice. Deployment lags, straight line loss, and then the DNFs start stacking. You watch the timing screen and it's pain with extra steps. He still shows up, still finds tire life, still brings the car home when the car wants to go home on a truck. Bookmark the masterclass. Canada. Rain chaos, penalties, pit stops at weird times, and he threads the whole day on feel. Perfect calls, ruthless patience, and an endgame that flips a doom scroll into a win. That charge stays in every highlight reel because it's the handbook for how to manage a race when the sky hates you. Here's the quiet value. Leadership. When points are rare, he still delivers them. He shields the garage with calm. He gives feedback that turns rants into action items. On days where 9th is the ceiling, he gets 9th. That sounds dull. In constructors' math, it's gold. Teammate dynamics matter too. He doesn't set fires, he sets baselines. Debriefs stay honest, egos stay parked, and the car creeps forward even while the engine saga melts morale. He's the adult who reminds everyone there's a race next week and the setup sheet still needs work. This is the point. A veteran who can develop, debrief, and not break is worth lap time. Button shows it. He keeps the standard intact when the stopwatch refuses to be friendly. No tantrums, just data, decisions, and a clean out lap. The end of the line is dignified, if slow. Fewer peaks, same class. The results don't scream, but the tape says steady. Mini payoff, Button's consistency is the bandage on Honda-era wounds, the reason Dignity survived the DNFs. Next, a one-season cameo of pure chaos. Sergio time. Sergio Perez. 1 year of chaos and 0 podiums. New star signs, old car vibes. What could go wrong? A lot. Sergio Perez rocks up expecting champagne shots and a smooth step up. The contract says podiums. The car says absolutely not. He walks into a transition year where the factory is swapping ideas faster than parts. Targets are high, windows are narrow, and every setup meeting feels like speed dating with dampers. He stares at the data and goes, "Fine, let's hustle." You can see the intent. Late breaker, sharp rotation, send it when others flinch. Then the form dips. He scraps with Button like a kid brother trying to steal the last biscuit. In quali, he puts the thing higher than it deserves, elbows out through sector 2, tiny lifts through fast stuff, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be spicy. Sunday arrives, fuel loads go up, balance shifts, and the car won't cash the checks. Top 5 becomes the ceiling. Podium chat fades into maybe next round, and yes, reliability roulette sneaks in to ruin a decent undercut. Feisty? Oh, absolutely. He throws bold moves into slow hairpins, forces switches back on exit, and refuses to be parked behind a train. It's the kind of racecraft that turns midfield fights into highlight reels. But when the tire window shrinks, the rear gets fidgety, and that last 10% of traction never shows, you pay for the fun with lap time. Driver fit matters. His style likes a front that bites and a rear that stays. The car that year behaves like a moody cat fine until you pet it. That mismatch is brutal. He wants to attack entries. The chassis wants a cuddle and a warm setup blanket. You can tune it closer, but every click costs somewhere else. The media heat ramps, big badge, bigger expectations. When the scoreboard stays stingy, patience evaporates. Headlines frame every dive bomb as rash, every defense is messy, and suddenly you're fighting the car and the narrative. Those Mondays are long, the exit speeds up, short stints write big stories. This is one of them. Patience, timing, and machinery beat hype every time. One season feels like 5 new tracks, new tire whispers, same hard ceiling. He leaves without a trophy, but with scars that become upgrades. Lessons on setup compromise, tire life, and when to risk the dive. Now the rebuild finds vibe, and points enter science and bromance. Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator who left at exactly the wrong time. Join the rebuild, bring the smiles, then leave right before the rocket ships arrive. That's Carlos Sainz's McLaren arc in one savage sentence. He walks in, plugs into a team still finding itself, and suddenly the Sundays feel organized instead of chaotic. You get harmony on the radio, clean stints, and the sense that points aren't miracles, they're the plan. The duo with Lando becomes appointment TV, not fake friendly, real chemistry. 2 drivers pushing pace while turning the garage into a place you actually want to work late. You could feel it on race days. Reduce errors, run tidy strategies, convert the decent days into 6th and 5ths, then pounce when others melt. Smiles plus scorecard. But now the tension. McLaren climbs from midfield, lays proper foundations, and then the big leap shows up when he's already out the door. That's the sting. He does the heavy lifting while the car is a solid rung on the ladder, not the elevator. Podium shouts start popping again. Not a flood, but enough to change the mood. He nails those days where tire wear is tricky and the overcut pays if you nurse the rears. The culture shifts with it, less panic, more process, and a bit of swagger. The factory tone goes from please finish to how do we beat the cars ahead. Here's why it sticks. Sainz's feedback loop is clean. He speaks chassis, not superstition. Entry stability, traction phases, brake migration. He translates the fuzz into fixes. On track, the race pace is honest and repeatable. No waste, no ego dives. He stretches stints when the window opens and calls the pit stop at the right lap, not the loud lap. Then the career move lands. New colors, fresh promise. And right as he's unpacking elsewhere, McLaren sharpens. Aero clicks, upgrades land, and the trajectory he helped start goes vertical. That's the sport's cruel joke. Timing is a stat. You can nail the drive and still sign the wrong calendar. Fans don't forget the groundwork. They credit him for the vibe shift, the points banked, the baseline that made third in the fight realistic again. The scoreboard says one thing, the rebuild tape says another. Mini payoff. Sainz relights papaya, sets the table, and misses the biggest fireworks by a beat. Speaking of fireworks, Lando becomes the face of the comeback. Lando Norris, the zoomer. Making papaya. Cool again? Twitch streams, dry jokes, and lap times that make engineers blush. That's the Lando starter pack. You log on for memes, you stay because the kid threads a quali lap like he's speedrunning a boss fight with no damage. It's silly online, deadly serious on Saturday. He rolls in as the meme lord, the friendly face, the chaos merchant on stream. Then the helmet goes on and suddenly he's the adult in the room. Calls strategy on the radio without drama, reads the track like a weather app with attitude. Bit by bit, leader energy. He doesn't ask for the keys, he just drives the thing like they were already in his pocket. Years of midfield grind sharpen the blade. You can hear it in the debrief tone near-win sting, and that sting turns into work. He loses a few that felt done and files every lap in his head. Pressure grows. Cool gets cooler. The gap from nearly to done starts to shrink. Qualifying, filthy. He finds half a tenth in corners that look flat to everyone else, dials in rotation with a little brake magic, keeps the rear awake without lighting it up, and snaps the throttle just enough to beat the delta. On Sundays, the craft grows up. DRS timing, launch phases. The patience to set a car up for 3 laps instead of 3 corners. Tire life stops being a coin toss and starts being a weapon. He's the modern brand face without being a press robot. You get the data-driven prep, the sim grind, the mind games on stream that spill into real focus. Fans feel like they're in the garage because he talks like a human while thinking like an engineer. That combo sells papaya to people who don't own a torque wrench. As the car wakes up, he cashes. Podiums that start as long shots become routine. Then the win lands, and it's clean, not charity. Track position guarded, gaps grown on the right laps, and a final stint that says, relax, I've got this. Those are leader laps. Self-critique stays high. He'll roast his own outlap before anyone else can. That's why the ceiling looks higher. Every flaw gets turned into a to-do list and checked off the next weekend. The cool factor is back because the results now match the vibes. Norris turns hype into hardware and makes the papaya box office. And then McLaren steals a rookie who refuses to blink Piastri. Oscar Piastri, Alpine's biggest mistake, McLaren's smoothest robbery. How do you sign a driver without him knowing? You don't unless you're Alpine. Contract chaos blows up online, lawyers start stretching, and somehow the calm kid with the ice stare walks out wearing papaya. That's a heist, and it comes with the coolest rookie entrance in years because he acts like the noise never happened. He lands, shuts the laptop, and gets to work. No chest beating, no drama, just a car to learn and a benchmark across the garage. The question is simple, can he match Lando or does he fade? He matches, not with big swings, but with clean laps and zero waste. Qualifying turns into his calling card. Neat steering, early rotation. The throttle picks up once, not twice. He treats fast corners like audits no fluff, only proof. On Sundays, the race pace is measured. He won't cook the tires for a vanity move. He lines up exits, uses DRS windows, and strikes when the Delta says yes, not when the crowd screams, do it. That ice-cold decision-making shows up in mixed conditions and messy restarts. He leaves space where chaos lives, then takes it back on exit with traction the others spent. It looks boring until the stint clock says he gained 5 seconds by doing nothing dumb. That's racecraft you can't fake. Early trophies arrive, and they're loud, without him needing to be. First a sprint win short format, high risk, no time to fix mistakes, then a big one that shuts every too soon take up. Those aren't lottery tickets. They're proof of an elite baseline. Behind the scenes, the feedback loop starts humming. He talks set up in plain words that map to actual changes. Entry bite, mid-corner support, traction phases. Engineers love that because you can draw it, code it, and send it back to the track. Upgrades land, balance narrows, lap time falls. It's simply lovely when a rookie helps the car grow up. Now look at the depth chart. 2 young aces, different strengths. One squeezes quali like a lemon, the other milks race pace like a long con. That's not overlap, that's coverage. And when a team hits that combo, development risk drops because every weakness gets found twice, so the robbery stops being a meme and reads like a master plan. Boardroom drama becomes garage gold. Oscar Piastri walks through the side door and turns noise into points, then points into silverware. Our papaya tour just hit present tense. Papaya is a personality test. Champions, chaos, comebacks. You sign up for speed and end up with therapy, memes, and a timeline that refuses to behave. That's the fun, that's the pain. And yes, it's simply lovely when it all clicks. So, your turn. Who wore papaya best, and which era still lives rent-free in your head? Drop it below. I'm not with you on this if you pick the safe choice to defend it. Thank you so much for watching. Grab your popcorn for the next deep dive and let me know in the comments which team we roast next because it's going to be messy.